It's time to pump up the jam.
That's right, because this week we're looking at the Pump Up the Jam whiskey from Two Stacks. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Matt, I'm the whiskey nerd.
I'm Rose, I'm the whiskey noob.
And like we said, this week we're looking at the Pump Up the Jam whiskey from Two Stacks. So we get it into the glass, and I'll tell you a bit more about it.
And also that bottle, because it's hella artsy.
Yeah, so this bottle, I'll show you here. Hang on, I'll give you this little tag. This is a special edition whiskey. First off, it's a special edition whiskey for the Two Stacks Nation Facebook group. So if you were in the Facebook group, you were able to buy this whiskey before anybody else. There were like 100 bottles and I think like a couple hundred cans. The bottle sold out immediately, and the cans I think went on general sale like a couple days later after all the people in the Facebook group had a chance to buy it. I have a whole video on whiskey clubs and stuff. I came out earlier. If you want to see that, there'll be a link up there. You can check that out. But this one here, and is a Facebook group exclusive, and they did a really cool artwork on it. So
yes.
It's hard to, maybe you might not see it on camera, but like in the background there's actually the Two Stacks logo.
Oh yeah.
On the inside of the bottle. If you can't see it on the camera, I'll put a picture of that up there.
Yes.
And it has this kind of hydro dipped raspberry jam madness.
Yeah.
Because this whiskey was finished in raspberry brandy casks, hence the name Pump Up the Jam.
Yeah. And it was made by an artist called Frankie B.
Yeah, she's like a local artist near to the Two Stacks folks. So she did this project where she I think she put like a wrap on half the bottle, hydro dipped it to get like this kind of paint up. You don't know what
it's all hand done.
Hydro dipping, again, there'll be pictures up there to show what that looks like. And then she peeled off the wrap, giving you this kind of really cool halfway kind of colouring, and it's all the way on the bottom and everything.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and I suppose, well, I'll hold it like that so you can see it halfway. And what makes this whiskey a little bit special? So it is, if you're familiar with Two Stacks, they have like their core, I think they call it the complex blend.
Ooh.
They also have their blender's cut, which is cask strength at 63% ABV, and that's what this is here.
Oh my.
63% ABV. And that is made up of 40% grain whiskey that was aged in virgin American oak casks.
Oh.
40% grain whiskey that was aged in bourbon casks.
Okay.
I think it's 10% malt whiskey that was aged in bourbon casks, 8% Oloroso Sherry aged pot still, and 2% peated malt.
Oh, they do like to sneak their peat in.
Yeah, and for me, like on the cask strength, the peated comes through a little bit, and hopefully that might have been tamed back a little bit by the fact that they spent 12 months in a raspberry brandy cask.
Oh my.
Yeah, and they did say that they've actually refilled that raspberry brandy cask since then, so we might see future releases that you might be able to get your hands on, because this was special, limited edition. You might not be able to get it, but you might be able to get that second round of the raspberry brandy cask.
Yeah.
Interestingly about the peat, you say Rose typically doesn't like peated whiskey.
No.
But when we actually visited the Two Stacks warehouse, and they have this kind of tour experience thing where you can blend your own whiskey.
Yeah.
And when we blended our own whiskey, we both put in more than 2% peated.
I know. Who am I?
You went in like, I think 5%?
Yeah.
Something like that, and I went in with like 6 or 7% peat.
Yeah.
And it was very interesting that like you, I think, like peat when it's not the only thing.
Oh gosh, yeah. I cannot do peat on its own, but like it can bring a little bit of depth to a wider whiskey.
And this one here might have a lot of depth to it because of that raspberry brandy cask. So I think that's enough talking.
Let's get to smelling.
And I can already smell it from here. It's got a really like strong flavor, but like it's very different.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, we've had a fair bit of it since we got it.
Yeah, it's literally like you're out in the bush and you've got like fresh raspberries right in front of you, and you've like squished them up, you know?
Yeah, it's like almost like that tart raspberry. Where you get, like, it's almost sour, like it's like that, but really sweet. Like it's more sweet than tart, but it's like verging on that.
It's like you've gone to the bush, right? The raspberry bush. I don't even know if they're grown on bushes or not.
I think they grow on bushes.
But there's some ripe ones and then some that aren't, and you've just taken a whole handful, and you get what you get.
Yeah, and you get that, the grain kind of character coming through with it, because it's 80% grain whiskey, and you get that kind of sweetness. You get that almost like biscuity character from like the grain whiskey, the toasted grain notes.
Yeah.
And then you also get that bourbon cask from the malt, from the other grain. You get that, and you're not really getting any pot still. Because
I'm just getting loads of jam.
It's loads of jam. Like, that's why they call it pump up the jam, because you're gonna pump up the jam with this because it's so
Jammy.
It's so jammy. It's so sweet.
It is.
I don't want to say the only note you're getting is the raspberry note.
It's the only note I'm getting.
But like, there is some depth behind. Like,
Yes, there is.
There's a little bit of like
It could be that peat.
It might be the peat. The peat might be helping to kind of balance it out.
Yeah.
But like I mean, with the back.
You're going for a party.
The logo of it, I think if you look at it, you can see there are like
little raspberries.
There's little raspberries. Again, if you can't see the picture up there, but like there are little raspberries in here. They want you to know this is a raspberry brandy whiskey. I've had some of their other whiskeys like the apple brandy, the cherry brandy. We've tasted those, and like they were whiskey with that appley note.
Yeah.
This is
jam.
This is right up front.
Which might also
super
be a
jammy.
whiskey.
Well, yeah. So I think maybe you wonder if that if the second fill cask might be a little bit more subtle.
Oh.
Might be like those apple brandy casks where it wasn't as full on.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is just really nice.
I like the non-subtlety of it.
Yeah, because like the people in the Two Stacks Nation group, me being one of them, they're a bit crazy, they're a bit mad, and this whiskey being a bit crazy, being a bit mad is definitely one
Perfection.
I think, to kind of complement the joyful madness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's taste it.
Let's taste it. Cheers.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Is that like raspberry tart cake?
Yeah. So it's like imagine like a bakewell, like a pear bakewell.
Yeah.
But like an upside down cake actually.
Oh.
But a raspberry upside down cake where you kind of cooked it, you caramelize the sugars in the raspberries, but you get that grainy flavor. You get the caramel.
I get oaky at the end.
Yeah. Like again, coming at 63%. This is.
Oh, it doesn't taste like it.
It does feel like it's high.
Oh.
It feels like it's high.
Well, for some people.
Some people. It feels like it's not at 40%.
Well, 40% is like water.
Yeah, so it's not down there. It feels a bit high, but with that juiciness, it doesn't feel hot.
I think with the flavor being so well done and upfront, that the ABV of it doesn't really like kick in there. You know, like you don't taste that. It's not like pure heat and you're like, where's the flavor? It's flavor first.
Yeah, if you do leave it on your tongue for a bit, you start to get that heat coming through as your mouth almost gets like used to the raspberry.
I get it in my eyes.
You get it in your eyes, but like the raspberry definitely, it's raspberry jam. It's jammy. It's rich. It's sweet. It's sugary. It's thick. It's a thick boy.
It is a thick boy.
Thick boy.
It really does a good job of pumping up the jam.
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, it's jammy. It's a thick, jammy boy, and that's what you want. If you're gonna call a whiskey, pump up the jam.
Oh, you better deliver and this delivers.
You better pump up that jam. So, do you want to go in for the finish?
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers. Sláinte.
Sláinte. I mean, it's 63%.
So I feel a little bit of the heat.
Yes.
A little bit.
But it is also quite a long, because it's at that 63. It's going to give you a long
There's
finish.
length to it.
It's, again, with that thickness, with that richness, it's sticking to my cheeks. Like, it's like that heat you get from the ABV.
Yeah.
And the thickness sticking to, it's kind of both of them combined.
Yes.
And you get that kind of,
I get a little bit like the oakiness at the end.
Yeah, after like a breath or two, the raspberry, it's there, but it does start to fade.
Yeah.
And I think the oaky character, the touch of peat, like the core of the whiskey.
Oh my god, I didn't even taste any peat in there.
Yeah, for me, I'm saying a touch, like a touch of peat. The core of the whiskey, I think, lasts a bit longer in the finish than the raspberry. So it's raspberry front, it fades off, and then you get that core of the whiskey kind of hanging on.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, so it's a bit of whiskey coming through there at the end, but it's jam front.
Jam front.
It's jam center, and it's jam finish. Before we give our final thoughts on this whiskey, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We put out whiskey reviews every Wednesday. We put out cocktail recipes featuring whiskey every Friday. So if you want to see those, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But now, Rose, what's the verdict? Do you think this pumps up the jam?
Oh, it pumps up the jam, all right.
Yeah. I really like this. I do not think I could drink a lot of this in one go. Like I will definitely enjoy the rest of this glass. And
yeah.
I've had this for about I don't know, 7 or 8 months. I don't know how long I've had this bottle, and I go to it every now and then. It's not something I would drink a huge amount.
Because there's so much flavor.
There's so
in
much
it.
flavor.
It's like a longer lasting. You enjoy it over a longer period of time.
Yeah, and since it is at 63%.
Oh yeah.
Like, you won't want to be drinking a full glass of this. Like, it is quite high, but it's something that whenever a lot of people come over to the house, I'll be like, try it. Don't try something a bit weird. And I'll pour them a little bit, because for the people who aren't like used to drinking high proof whiskey, 63% is a lot. It does kind of, you see the people that cough, they kind of splutter a bit. But this is always just like, wow, that's weird, that's different, I love it.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. And I would say, go buy it, but you can't.
But
the next time,
you might be able to find that second fill cask. They did say that they refilled that cask, so presumably that means that in the near future, if it starts giving enough flavour, they will release a second edition Pump Up the Jam or a Raspberry Brandy finish, because I know they have the other special editions, like I said, the apple, I think there's a rum, there's a cherry brandy, there's a pear brandy, and they weren't like Facebook group exclusives. They were just releases. Okay. So you might see a release of a Raspberry Brandy.
That could be intriguing.
Yeah. So I think that's all there is to say about this whiskey. Yeah. Like I said, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, but right now we're going to enjoy the rest of this whiskey. Yeah. And we'll see you next time. Sláinte.
Bye-bye.